Hello everyone, welcome to Famous Motion Pictures. My name is Matt and I'm an independent filmmaker. And today in this video, I'm going to share some incredibly useful tips on how to get stuff for free when you're making your independent film. I know that in my experience, I've reached out to actors who I've wanted to cast, and I've reached out to locations that I want to shoot in, and I've reached out to these people and I've passionately kind of made a pitch on how I want them to be a part of my project, and oftentimes the answer is no, because I have no money to offer them. Now that is totally fair. Film is a business, and it is absolutely appropriate for locations owners and crew and for actors to ask for money in exchange for their time and for their talent and for their services and their property. But as an independent filmmaker, it is my job to figure out a way to make my movie despite having no money. Because when you have no money, you have to be scrappy and you have to be extra creative. When you don't have any money to make an independent film, when you don't have any money to go out and achieve all of this stuff that you're passionate about and that you want to create, what you really have to do is shift your perspective from thinking that you need a lot of money and trying to figure out what else you can offer, what else you can do for whoever it is you're trying to entice to be a part of your project. And this process is called bartering. For those of you who don't know how bartering works, what it essentially means is it's an exchange of one good or service for another, and you're really removing money from the equation altogether. So you're not really paying for something, and you're not really paying for someone's time. You're exchanging a potentially unique skill, one that you probably possess as a filmmaker, to be able to entice someone to offer you their location, or to be able to convince an actor or a crew member to be a part of your project and to give you their time towards your film. So bartering is really a magic bullet that I have used in the process of no budget and micro budget filmmaking that has really enabled me to be able to get things for free, such as locations that I might not have otherwise been able to do if I wasn't able to offer any money. There's really no end to the number of things that you can barter for services and for people's time and energy and locations and all that type of stuff. Maybe you're a great photographer and you can offer headshots to an actor. Maybe you could offer raw footage for their demo reel. Maybe you could offer footage for an audition for a larger, more professional paid gig that they want to submit for, but they don't have the raw footage or the skills to be able to kind of shoot that themselves and make it look really slick to be able to compete. For a business or for a company that you kind of need something from, maybe you can offer them like a 15-second or a 30-second spot for their website or for social media, and you can kind of like just get some footage and you can edit this like little commercial for them, something that would cost them maybe thousands of dollars to hire like a production company to do. You can do this like really slick, polished thing for them. A great example of this is in my latest feature film, Transmission Volume 1. We really needed a limousine for the opening title sequence. Being in a large city like Toronto, you really can't just get a limousine for free, and you really can't just get a driver for free to drive the limousine around while you're filming in the back of it. We reached out to different limousine companies, and we were able to find one that was willing to negotiate and barter some skills that I had as a filmmaker in exchange for their time. So what we ended up doing is they gave us a limousine and one of their drivers about 20 or 30 minutes to drive around the city, and we got some shots of the limousine for the film, and this worked out amazing for our movie. What we did after is we set aside another 20 or 30 minutes, and I got a whole bunch of really slick shots of the limousine. I got some close-ups, I got shots of the interior, of the bar, of the seats, and I took that footage and I color graded it, and I tried to make it look really slick and sharp, and I threw it in Dropbox, and then I Dropboxed the link of the footage of the limousine to the limousine company. And this is just kind of the raw color graded footage, like unedited, but they were able to take that and assemble it in a way that worked for them and put up footage on their website for their company. So it worked out really great for us because we were able to get something that we probably shouldn't have been able to do on a budget of our size. We were able to secure that and make that happen for the film, and they were able to get this footage for their website and didn't have to go through the process of reaching out to production companies and getting quotes and trying to schedule something and figuring out how to make that happen. And it was almost like serendipity for the two of us because they they needed footage for their website and we needed a limousine for our film, and it just kind of happened. In shifting your perspective away from money to your skills as an independent filmmaker, you got to start to think about how you can barter and leverage these talents that you've accumulated and refined over the years to be able to help make your film in ways maybe you didn't think were possible. Another example of this is for the second volume of Transmission Volume 2. This film is currently in post-production, but we shot the two back to back, and while we were doing that, we approached an automotive plant. Now, this is a location that we absolutely should not have been able to film in, and if you want to know more about how we were able to do that, check out the locations video in the card right there. There's a lot of really great information in that video on how we were able to secure that location, but when it came to payment, we really didn't have any money to offer. I imagine a lot of you watching this probably don't have a lot of money to offer locations such as an automotive plant, so we asked them, what can we do for you in lieu of payment? And it turns out what they needed was raw footage for an employee and safety training video, like an orientation video, to demonstrate different areas of the automotive plant and to discuss the processes of how their company functions on the floor of this plant. And in kind of the same spirit as the limousine company, we were able to go in and film in this automotive plant, and we just scheduled a second time to go back and get a bunch of raw footage for them that they could assemble into a training video. Now, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not overcommitting what you're able to do. Now, you're shooting an independent film, chances are you're doing a lot of things by yourself, and you don't have time to necessarily be like editing entire training videos and be doing more than you have time for. That's gonna start to, like, you know, hurt the schedule of the film that you're making. But if you're able to barter raw footage, that is a really, really powerful trade, because you're not only saving the other person the cost of acquiring the footage from a production company or something, it's kind of a project for anyone to reach out to production companies and get quotes and figure out how much time is going to happen. If someone needs the footage, and I mean, let's face it, today, everything is online and everyone needs footage for their website or for social media or for training or any other sort of purposes. You have kind of a lot of leverage because you could potentially be in the right place at the right time with someone who needs the footage from you and you need the location from them. And if you're able to make that click and you're able to kind of present that as an option, you could potentially get really amazing locations for absolutely no money, just a little bit of your time. And if you're able to kind of carve out that time while you're shooting to be able to just collect a little extra footage for social media or for their website and then give them the footage when you're done, that's a really fair trade in my opinion. And it ended up working out really well for both parties. As an independent filmmaker, you've likely acquired a whole bunch of skills over your filmmaking career that you're able to barter and you're able to trade and to offer up as leverage. And you have these tools that you've acquired over time and these skills that you've acquired over time that other people don't know how to do, or maybe they don't even understand how to procure for themselves. Some of these skills that you probably have as a filmmaker are, you have expertise in motion graphics or visual effects, cinematography, the ability to be able to shoot very gorgeous and slick footage. Maybe you have your own camera rig and your own sound equipment. So when you're bartering kind of these skills, you really want to kind of gauge the monetary value that might have in the marketplace versus what they're offering you in exchange. So you're kind of acting as like a little like freelance production company in addition to doing your film. And I know that that could be stressful because like you're already having to deal with all these moving parts and you're probably producing it yourself and like there's so much going on. But if you want to execute on your vision as a filmmaker, you really need to start to get creative in how you're going to offer your services and exchange and barter and figure out a way to make this happen, right? Your job is to make your film happen. And these little tips and tricks and tools really enable you to be able to get the sort of help that you probably shouldn't be able to get as a no budget or micro budget film that only larger, more expensive productions are able to secure, like people's time and company services and all this type of stuff that really adds production value value to the project that you're making. If you're able to make your film look more expensive and you're able to secure location or get the perfect actor or this like really talented crew member, or you're just able to like secure or acquire something that you probably shouldn't be able to do from a budgetary standpoint, if you're able to do that in another creative sort of way, it might have this really interesting ripple effect from possibly securing this really awesome location all the way to having this look amazing in your film and it being a selling point when you're marketing your movie. Like, it might add value to your film in the marketplace when you're reaching the distribution stage of the process, of the filmmaking process. So think about what you can do to offer other people despite not having any money, and kind of remove money from the equation and consider all the skills and the tools that you have to be able to ask the question, what can I do for you? And I think you might be surprised at what you're able to barter to be able to get really, really cool free stuff for your movie, despite your budget, whatever your budget might be. And I'm assuming that your budget is probably not a ton of money. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video on how to get free stuff. So I hope that this helped you. I hope that it kind of got the gears turning. I hope that it inspires you. I hope that it opens some doors into maybe realizing that you're not as limited as you maybe once thought you were as a small independent filmmaker and not having a budget. There's quite a lot you can do with no money, and that's really what I'm going to be exploring on this channel and sharing all the little things that I have learned and stumbled upon over the years of making movies on how to make this stuff happen despite not having any money to do it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.